jump on the steel rails of hard cash. I see business as a deadly and final grapple between King Credit and its master, Money Down. Lately, the newspapers have been saying that he is going blind. As I approached his $1 million store, I saw a crowd in front of the windows. His windows are always an attraction. Displayed there are goods of all kinds at marvelous prices. They are arrayed in a free and easy way, and there is plenty of dust on them. 2 items I noticed were $12 fishing rods at 49 cents and fast black hosiery at 40 cents a dozen. On the door, a sign reads like this: "Notice, this store will close at 6:30 till further notice." Mr. Rouss is a phonetic speller. This is what confronts you on a great sign at the elevator entrance. He who built, owns, and occupies this marvel of brick, iron, and granite 18 years ago walked the streets penniless and $50,000 in debt, only to show that the capitalists of today were poor men just 20 years ago, and that many a poor fellow facing poverty today may be a capitalist a quarter of a century hence, if he will. Pluck adorned with ambition, backed by honor bright, will always command success, even without the almighty dollar. The proprietor, though no smoker, enjoys the flavor of a good cigar, but the nasty old pipe of the poisonous cigarette will not be tolerated in the house. Prefer a dead rat or a polecat. Visitors making their headquarters here are requested to leave their dollars and valuables with the cashier or at the hotel. The alert and sure-footed bunkos are everywhere. The woods are full of them. 1 hour now may save you years in the credit hell of mercantile life. You are welcome to an hour in this concern, free to see for yourself which is the surer, shorter, quicker road to success. The old credit gauntlet or 10 and 20% off for cash before delivery. One moment, please. Look at a few stubborn facts in our window. Half an hour through our warehouse containing 1 million auction values will be very apt to shake your faith in the credit system and build your future fortune on the solid rock of cash before delivery. Charles Broadway Rouss. Down the elevator shaft come strange cries.
Jones.
Men shouting
Jones.
for Smith and Jones and McGinnis,
Jones.
who happen to be wanted somewhere else through the building.
McGinnis. McGinnis. McGinnis.
Smith. Smith. Jones.
Jones.
I kept looking at two walls covered with pictures, one from the legislature of Virginia, thanking Mr. Rouss for giving Winchester, his native place, $30,000 for its water supply, and diverse others from firemen and all manner of organizations. I went into the office and approached the said-to-be sightless merchant. An interesting thing about his office is an enormous file case covering the wall for fully 60 feet, and having indexed receptacles for communications and information from all the states in the Union and from all his customers. It's a standing monument to Mr. Rouss's idea of order and helps offset the impression of disorder his store conveys. I took a chair beside his flat-top desk with two stenographers on the other side of him. In personal appearance, Mr. Rouss reminds one of nobody. He is unique. He has an honest, kindly face which proclaims him to be an able, honest man and a gentleman. But he is remarkably careless about his attire. Few who meet him at lunch in the afternoon and in the Metropolitan Cafe or afterwards at Delmonico's would imagine him to be the owner of one of the largest buildings on Broadway and the possessor of the heaviest private cash account in all the banks of New York City. You meet him. He extends his hand and says, "I am your friend." Mr. Rouss, I believe it is $100 a minute to talk to you. Is that the latest quotation? 10 cents an hour today, he said as he turned his eyes upon me and appeared to see all over and through me. I think it will take about 10 minutes. I want to interview you for the Hardware Dealers magazine. What's your name? Addison Archer. Where do you live? In New York. Where in New York? I told him. Well, what do you want? Something about you, your business, your life. Jenny, give him the life. And one of the stenographers handed me down a copy of a pamphlet with a robin's egg blue cover which said, "The Life of Charles Broadway Rouss, price 1 cent. It had his picture, and under that famous signature which those who don't know it at sight are never able to decipher, and then this piece of poetry by Charles Mackay. Should fortune with a smiling face strew roses in our way, then we shall stop to pick them up today. But should she come with tale of grief or talk of coming sorrow, when shall we grieve, if grieve we must? Tomorrow. You will find it full of anything you want to know about me, said Mr. Rouss as I turned the leaves. It says, the personal traits which endear Mr. Rouss to his intimates are quaint and rugged humor, his patient tolerance with the faults of others, his utter absence of egotism, and his marvelous fund of practical common sense. He never lends, he never borrows, he obstinately declines to invest in enterprises outside of his own immediate business. He does not profess belief in any of the ordinary accepted creeds of any of the churches. I want to know particularly about your hardware department and your ideas of the hardware business. It read, his beginning in New York after the war with $1.80 in cash and $11,000 in old debts against him. His wonderful success. but unfortunate co-partnership. His failure in 1875 for $51,000. He repaid every dollar he owed after he failed in 1875. He settled it with them at 45 cents on the dollar, but when prosperity came to him again, he paid every cent of this outlawed indebtedness. His beginning again at the bottom of the ladder. His rise from cramped quarters, 19 by 65 feet in Church Street at a rent of $1 a day, to the ownership of his present magnificent store with its 12 stories and floor surface of 185,000 square feet. Take the elevator, go right up and see the full floor full of hardware. You look to be a rather young man, Mr. Rouss. I am 60. I am blind. I cannot see you at all. I would never judge this from the way he looked at me. His eyes were as clear and bright and apparently full of intelligent seeing. How old are you? 32. I wish I were only 32. I would rather have youth than great riches. But you are young in heart and mind. By the way, what time do you get down here in the morning? 6 o'clock. I used to get down at 5. Every day in the year, except Sundays. How late do you stay at night? 6 o'clock? But now look at here. You are a stenographer, aren't you? No, but I can take everything you say verbatim. Well, then you can understand that I want to get through with my stenographers before 7 o'clock. I don't like to keep them here after that. Mr. Rouss, what time do you go to bed at night? 8 o'clock. I suppose you are one of those all-night tellers who go to bed 12, 2, 4 o'clock? I sometimes write at night. That isn't right. Do your work in the daytime and get done with it. And go home and go to bed. And dream. My best ideas came in dreams. Go away now, and let me keep on with my work. Goodbye. Goodbye. I'm very much obliged.